Hey folks, whilst the waiting list remains, the hype has started to fade a little on the latest X100, so I thought I'd get in it and its predecessor to see if the waiting list and added price is really justified. I've gotten in model Felicia and we're going to test out a bunch of the different color profiles and see how they vary in hand. Have you shot with one of them before?
No.
Okay, so Fuji released the first of these like 12 or 15 years ago. Everyone has been popular, but this latest one, the X100VI, looks exactly the same, but it's got a new sensor in there, a few other, it's got vibration compensation and stuff. Is so popular that they're calling it like the TikTok camera. It's been out for over 6 months. It's still back ordered. If you want one, you have to put in an order and wait maybe 6 months to get one, or pay about double to get one on the secondary market. So essentially in this video, having done a full hands-on review, and I have to say, I think my initial review was really fair and balanced, but one of the few at the time that pointed out any downsides because so many people get swept up in the hype on these kind of new cameras. In this video, I want to take a different angle of a look at it and see, is it worth the hype and is it worth a 6-month waiting list or 100% premium? We've got this really cool studio, we've got some cool colored backgrounds and outfits, and today I'm going to be primarily shooting in JPEG using all of the different color profiles, and I'll talk you through why. Great news folks, the 2024 5-day deal is now live. Over the past 10 years, we've raised over $3 million for charity, and this year Steph and I are hoping to break all previous records. You can save over 95% and pick up an amazing pack of photography courses and tools. Our Natural and Available Light Masterclass is included in the Pro Bundle, and if you use our link to purchase, I'll be sending out an extra exclusive bonus of our Boudoir art tape course as thanks. Every course in the bundle is new for 2024, it's an incredible offer and it ends in just a few days. And of course, if it turns out you already own either of the courses that we're offering, let me know after the sale finishes and I'll be happy to switch it out for something else of equal value. Don't miss your chance to help charity, grab an amazing deal, and get the bonus Boudoir course by using our link last. Full details below. So look, the reason folks that I want to shoot these using and showing you the JPEGs is essentially, to be fair, when I reviewed the camera the first time, I think I was looking at it very fairly, honestly and objectively, but maybe missing out on the fun aspect that some people are getting this for, and I kind of came to it a little bit later, which is so dumb because it's really obvious. But obviously, I do appreciate that it's beautifully designed, it's got a simple interface, it does create beautiful images. I just think that for the price and the hype and the waiting list, what it delivers in specification doesn't justify it. That said, I think a lot of people are shooting it because you're a Fuji shooter, right? They have all of these great film profiles in them, which, you know, so many people want to shoot film, but it's a pain in the butt to do it. So to be able to just shoot JPEG, get a look, whether, you know, you can bake in extra things beyond the basic profile, and then just share it, there is some appeal to that. Now, is it $1,700 worth of appeal? That's up to you, I don't know. So the photos that I share in this video will be the certain profile, the JPEG, straight out of camera, maybe with cropping or something. And I will have run them through Rebloom for light retouching of Felicia's skin. I'll give you, however, both the JPEGs and the RAW files to download over at my website so you can see them for yourself. But today I'm going to approach it as just what I get in camera is pretty much the shot for the day, and see if that changes my perspective on using this guy in, you know, August 2024. So look, whilst there's a bunch of new Fuji profiles that get a lot of hype, Velvia 50 specifically, slide film has always been my favorite. More for landscapes, but I feel with these colors it could be cool. So I'll start off shooting Velvia on both of these, and then we'll switch to classic chrome and maybe switch outfit there as well. This, we're going to choose lots of colorful stuff to really show what these different filters and film simulations can do for us. Maybe we put a squid in there.
Is that it?
Sure.
Great idea.
Then we just cover the squid with some balls. Okay. So we've got a nice big light here. This is one of the situations where having one of these screens that a lot of people said these cameras really didn't need does actually come in handy. Okay. One thing you got to keep in mind, 23mm lens, equivalent 35. From this distance, it looks pretty good. We have her centered, any distortions being added equally to the frame. But if we do come in right on the face, we're likely to get some distortion coming in. Okay, then I think we can change to another swimsuit and a different film profile. Okay, new outfit. Let's switch over to classic chrome. Look, overall, I am enjoying this. It's kind of, at this point in my shooting process, it's about capture, and then I'm intending to go do a full edit. But having the mindset of, let's just get the look exactly as I want now, is pretty cool. So the shot here doesn't quite work as the standard format 2x3. So I'm gonna go in and set it to different dimensions here. Let's go to 1x1. I'll show you why. If I keep it on 3x2, I want to get the underside of the circle here. It gives a cool shape, and I probably actually will retouch these a bit to get the bath thing out of the background. But then being down this low, you see the walls are falling away, and that's not the look that I'm going for. So if I go in and then put it to a 1x1, hopefully I can get a shot straight out of camera to then share. So here you don't see the walls falling away. It all looks kind of right. Let's switch arms. Oh yeah, having the front one down is fine anyway. And then we're getting a nice kind of look here. But let's mix it up and add the light a bit harder. See if we can get a cool, yeah, we get that second shadow coming in the background, which I think gives the shot a bit better depth. I'll finesse that a little because I think it will look cool a bit higher. So bringing the light down a little, and maybe even enough, just bring it down a bit, makes it a bigger arc. Let's put that hand up to the wall, yeah, because otherwise it's casting a big shadow and it looks just like a big poofy bit of hair. So down and slightly around. Too much. This is pretty cool though. Okay, let's get that on both cameras. Okay, for this next setup, I'm not sure if it's going to be black or white or not, but thank you to Aaron. He brought along a Taobao version of a light projecting cookie cutter thing. So I want to create a cool pool of light here. I think the steps are good, but it's a bit flat, so nice to be able to add some light. It is a real challenge when you're testing cameras that you often end up like you're just in a situation that doesn't have great light. Like at a trade show, you're always shooting at high ISOs. I think I saw the recent Canon R1, the people who were lucky enough to get hands on, a lot of them in America were testing like indoor soccer or something, and were shooting at 12,000 ISO. You just can't judge image quality at that point. So being able to add a lot of light and get back down to 200 or 125 ISO is where we want to be to really test the image quality. I will of course get some higher ones so you can see how it's doing and how it compares to the V. So let's bring this light in. I've already closed half of the room's curtains to get a bit of contrast out of it. This is a reasonably powerful light. My assistant keeps reminding me it's not as powerful as his. He's very proud. But it'll kind of do the job, but it does mean you want to close the window so that you get, the curtain, so you get as much contrast as you can. Basically, what you're seeing here, this is the ambient in the room. This is the light coming from the light because that's where it's being blocked. So if we want to make this darker but keep this the same, we just need to reduce the ambient. And we'll see that happen, that the brightly lit areas should stay about the same and the shadow areas should get much crisper, which gives us a much better contrast ratio. Ta-da! You probably can't really see me, but the bonus of it now having a great contrast ratio, I could actually move the light further away, which will reduce my highlights, but it will spread the light more so I have better coverage on her. There we have light on her eyes and I can get the frame that I want. Okay, so this is looking pretty cool. Of course, I'll go back to a more typical crop ratio here. 4:3, let's see, how's a 5:4 look here? That's kind of the business. And what you're doing right there, Felicia, is great. I've got this plant right at the top of the light, which I really like. If I went a little wider, 4:3, how's that look? Yeah, maybe that, 4:3. So that's like the Hasselblad Fuji GFX crop. Let's do some here in classic neg. Because the red is kind of nice. But I want those shadows nice and crispy. Can you lift your head up just a little? Yeah, I want that light on your eyes. Perfect. Cute. Okay, so those first ones are all in classic neg. Let me get a few extra in Astia. I really like the results we're getting here. It does take a little bit of time to set up the camera to the way you like to shoot, but that's true of any camera. They're basically computers these days. If you happen to be a GFX shooter, check out my expert setup guide. It takes you through the entire range from the 50S and R all the way through to the 100S Mark II. Shows you every single physical control on each of the cameras, all the customizations you want to do on each individual camera straight out of the box, and takes you on a complete menu deep dive, taking you through every single menu item in them. They are actually a fair bit of overlap with the X series cameras, but that one's specifically for the GFX range. You can check that out. Full details are in the description below. So for this next one, we were thinking to shoot in the bed, but it looks like there's gonna be some cool light coming through a little later. But there's a cool patch of light here on the ground next to this weird swing that's so close to the ground you can't get your feet in the air. So, oh, and now the light's gone. So I'm gonna, whilst we wait for that to come back, I'm gonna move the swing out of the shot with my foot and then try to get a shot here. Now, without the light, it's just quite flat and boring. Oh, but here we go, here it comes back again. There we go. And there it's gone again. So we'll get the light and it's gonna look nice, but I think I want you down a little bit more. And probably let's switch so you have butt to here. And we kind of need the light to figure out where the pools are. So there's a big cloud, give it 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, it's coming. Top knee up a little higher. This will work. And we'll just wait for light there. So we'll get a couple here as the light's coming back. Now I think I need to just let the feet crop off because it's gonna be a bit of an awkward frame otherwise. Turn your chin slightly to the window. That was a lot. Come back to eyes closed is fine, there's good. Eyes slightly back towards me or face like a little bit more, a little bit more. Chin slightly up. Let's go for Pro Neg High. Ideal for portrait with slightly enhanced contrast. Fabulous. That's kind of what we're doing. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to run these through Reblum, so the images you're seeing on screen will have already run through. You can download the samples. The reason I'm using Reblum now, you just get such nice results, and to be honest, I often can't be bothered to do full retouching on these kind of videos because I'd rather be shooting than editing. But it does a better job than I can do. And basically I go through, do curves and whatever on the pictures. In this case, probably not much because we're just cropping and getting them ready and using what's out of camera. Export them or just grab the files. Then you can dump them onto Reblum and then just batch process them. And it will do 50 or 5,000, whatever you want. And it just analyzes, makes the retouch, and then export them based on your preset setting. So I can just leave it and come back and everything has been done. And I guarantee you, like Felicia's got a mole on her chin, it doesn't remove that kind of thing. But if there's skin discoloration or little bits of zits or bags under the eyes or that kind of stuff, it does remove that, but it keeps the skin texture. It's so great. I've got a video, I think, coming about it soon, but you can check out below and get a free trial if you want to check it out. They've also got 20% off for our community. So look, I am enjoying shooting with this, the interface, the film simulations, it's all good fun. I don't know, actually I do know, I don't think it's worth that price to me, certainly not the hype and the waiting list and paying over retail and stuff. But it is a fun experience, and having a camera like this in your kit, whether it's the latest generation or one of the earlier ones, I can certainly see the appeal. As I pointed out in my first video, and I stand by this, I don't think that the lens on this can actually resolve the new high resolution sensor. They doubled the resolution without improving the optics. So this has the same lens as the 5, but twice the resolution, and you just don't yield all of the benefit that this sensor would offer if it had better glass on it. Now, moving on from the other shots where I do think it's working really nicely and I love the color profiles, I do want to show you something about being an f2 APS-C camera. That's great that it's so compact. Don't get me wrong, this formula has been working for a decade and it's great. But just be aware you're not going to get a super shallow depth of field on this camera unless you're shooting super close up. So I'm going to craft a little scene here. Felicia's genuinely reading a book right now while she was waiting for us to film. I'm going to just move the clutter out of the background and show you if we were shooting this on a 35mm camera with like an f1.4 or an f2 lens, we would expect a fair bit of blur in the background, but I don't think we're going to be able to get that much with an APS-C at f2. So let's clean out that chair and whatnot. Now let's go to Reala Ace. Okay, so I'm gonna overexpose this guy by 2/3 of a stop. You can just keep reading. And now the camera's lost her. There we go. So fairly simple, clean frame here. And I'm sure you'll note, whilst the background is somewhat soft, it's not crazy soft. If I come in a lot closer, so here we get a softer background, but you'll note if we come in how close we need to really soften it out, then you do start to see the distortion. And that's not a criticism necessarily of this camera. Every lens at 35mm is going to have some barrel distortion, and you're really going to notice it when you're in close. I think overall these are looking reasonably nice. It's just, you can't get away from the fact that it's still an f2 on a APS-C camera. Doesn't give you the softest of backgrounds. And I gotta say, I find it really funny how people just get all in on board with the latest film profile like it's the greatest thing ever. I personally find Reala Ace quite boring, but we'll include it here because I know people want to see it. I mean, it's fairly pretty. Let's just get these. I mean, come on. You're reading Simone de Beauvoir with a bunch of flowers. This is like freaking poetry, bro. How are we looking? Let me just get a bit more flare coming through from your background. You keep reading your book, please. Thanks, boss. So look, I would say side by side on these guys, there is a noticeable difference in terms of snappiness, but I would be fine to shoot with either if I were going to go for one of these. There are some obvious improvements between the two. Full honesty, I do think the images that I'm capturing, at least on the back of the camera, look really nice. I do think it's really cool to have those different film stocks. I'm old, I used to shoot film, I do in a way miss it. If I really wanted the film look though, I would go for the film look. So these, I don't feel look like film, but they're really cool presets. And to have them burned in, if you just want to get that one and done look, great. And to be, at the end of the day, photography is about what it means to you. If you want the creative challenge or the limitation or the opportunity or whatever you want to call it, to be able to bake in certain kinds of color looks and be able to share photos quickly, totally fine. There's a whole bunch of people that do that just with their iPhones. This certainly gives you a lot more than that. So I can see why people like this. I don't think it justifies the waiting list. In fact, Fuji in their recent annual report openly said they're artificially creating the demand, or in creating the wait list by limiting supply because it's better for their bottom line. So it's not really that demand is so crazy that they can't keep up. They're choosing not to keep up. Anyway, to do a little bit of pixel peeping, let's head back in studio. In case you don't join us, please say thank you to Felicia by checking her out her social media. We'll have links below. Check out the sample files. You can also see Rebloom down there, and I'll see you in studio. Although you probably don't have social media now because you keep getting cancelled. If she has an Instagram, we'll link it below. Hey there, folks. So I have spent a fair bit of time going through and reviewing these images. As I said, the ones that you saw in the video were JPEGs, so you saw the actual color profiles coming off each of the cameras. I had run them through Rebloom to do the automatic retouching that I find so useful these days. Just noticing, gosh, I use a really shallow depth of field to try and blur out my background, but I'm probably only getting one eye in focus right now. Anyway, Long story short, I don't think there's a big difference in image quality. Yes, the latest one is slightly sharper, slightly more detailed, much more resolution. But honestly, for how this is going to be used, I don't know. Do you feel that you need a lot of cropping capability? Do you feel you need the ability to go to a giant billboard print rather than a regular size billboard print? I really don't know if that's necessary. But if it were me, I would go with the 5. It's snappy enough, the image quality is great, basically the shooting experience is the same, just not quite as snappy. And, you know, if you're facing either a really long waiting list or paying like 100% premium to get the 6, I just personally don't see the value in it. Download the free sample files from my website below. I'd love to hear what you think of the different files. Do check out the 5-day deal. Please, it's the one time a year where the photography community all comes together and does something for a great cause. This year being the 10-year anniversary, it's actually open for 10 days. It's the biggest sale yet, and you're literally saving over 95%. So check it out, use my link last, and I'll send you that free art tape shoot as well. You can also check out Rebloom and get a free trial of that as well. Big thanks to Felicia for joining us for this shoot. Let me know any questions you have. I'll see you soon.